Great, we're back. Okay, so we're on the good ship practice. We've just docked up in Australia. We were in Hong Kong, obviously, before with Daisy Lee, and we had a few weeks in the practice islands, sailed around Philippines, round Indonesia, and we've made our way over to Australia now. So today we're with Irene. Irene, do you want to just introduce yourself quickly?
I'm a PhD candidate at the University of Monash, or Monash University in Melbourne, Australia. That's full-time, but I'm also a teacher and have been for about, I lose track of this, it's about 15 years now, an English language teacher, starting off in secondary, but since then I've worked with adult students, and at the moment I'm in primary teaching as a casual relief teacher because I'm studying full-time. So
cool. And yeah. We've got Natalia here again with us. Natalia, crochet grandmother, associate anthropologist, which one is it?
Associate anthropologist, thank you.
And Elizabeth?
Yep, I'm Elizabeth Shove, and you'll meet me later. I'm a visiting anthropologist.
Okay, I mean, so first off, tell us something about where you are right now.
Right now, physically located in Melbourne, Australia, which is on the southeast coast. It's like the southeast tip of the mainland of Australia. And it's very, very cold. We're experiencing unusually cold weather, which is why I'm wearing this, I would call a beanie, but I know there's many words for these things around the world. This is one I actually picked up when I was living in Finland a couple of years ago, or maybe about 4 or 5 now, time's getting on. So we're experiencing extremely cold weather at the moment across the east and also the west coast, but very, very cold and dark at the moment for us at 6 p.m. It's just past 6 p.m. So first day of winter, the darkness is here and the cold.
And you've obviously mentioned a little bit there about your work in terms of teaching and stuff, but what do you do in terms of research?
In research, as my research interests originate with me being a teacher as well. So I'm currently researching teacher perspectives of educating in Victorian public education here in Australia. Victoria is basically the state where Melbourne is located, and I'm looking at their educating experiences and in particular their experiences of teacher professional autonomy. That's a bit of a mouthful.
Interesting. And where did you first encounter practice theory?
Practice theory, I actually, I'm using practice theory, in particular the theory of practice architectures as part of my study. I'm luckily working under the supervision of Jane Wilkinson, which is how I found this group in the first place, who's one of the key theorists of in practice architectures. But originally I discovered this theory when I was doing my master's degree in Finland, which was an education degree, and I had a wonderful supervisor, lecturer, teacher at the time, Josephine Mowat, who's still located at the University of Uvascular, and she had just come back from Australia and took half an hour of whichever lecture it wasn't about practice theory, but she took half an hour to explain this theory of practice architectures. At the time, I had no plan of doing PhD. I'm already getting on age-wise. I need to get back to work and life. But in that time, when she introduced the theory of practice architectures, it just resonated with me as a teacher. So that was my first initial contact. And the fact that for me, it really changed the way of me thinking about teaching as a practice. Just within that short amount of time, it stayed with me. And then coming to Australia, ending up on this program, meeting Jane, it kind of everything was kind of, came together, and I thought, well, there's something in this. So since then, of course, practice architectures is just one theory in a larger group of practice theories. So.
And can you tell us a little bit more about what attracted you to theories of practice architectures?
Yeah, I think it was that for me, it was, I guess that initial introduction too, but the reason why I think for me as a teacher who's really interested in practice in the classroom and the practical side of teaching as opposed to the research side, I think for me both are very, very important. But for me, when I'm working with practice theory, how it strongly connects with the actual practice. It brings those two parts of educating, the theory and the practice, together. So that's why it really kind of resonates and appeals to me.
Great. And except for the architectures, what ideas are you working with right now?
At the moment,
Yeah.
well, the method. Okay, this is something I've been working with for the last couple of years, and I'm still very much at the beginning of. But I've come a long way, and I'm interested to also meet other people who are working with not just practice theories, but practice theories in conjunction with hermeneutic phenomenology, because that's the methodological approach I'm taking in my research, which has been a mammoth task all in itself. But yeah, so working that, seeing how those things they align with each other, but also how they complement each other. So.
So interesting theoretical alliance between practice theory and phenomenology. That's
Yes.
great. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so that brings me to the next question. As I said already, I'm an anthropologist, so I'm interested in tribes and, you know, intellectual alliances, as you've just mentioned. So are you on your own in this venture, or are you part of a group working with similar ideas?
Yeah, I think as a PhD candidate, and probably as a researcher, I'm sure a lot of the work that you do is independent. That's the nature of the work, which I'm quite happy to do as well, because I do like to be alone in my thoughts, in my books, in my writing. But of course, being part of groups is also part of it, because and for me, particularly importantly, dialogue. I'm really interested in dialoguing with others, conversing with others, sharing ideas for bringing my ideas in through talking with others about my ideas. My ideas also become clearer as well.
Yeah.
So I do work with obviously with my supervision team here at Monash, Jane being the key practice theorist there, but also I've had through Jane, we have also been very lucky to have on the odd occasion these. We call them pat chats with Professor Stephen Kemmis, that you'd know, yes, the key theorist of the theory of practice architectures. Just a couple of weeks ago, actually, we met up with him online. He meets up with a small group of candidates from time to time just to discuss the theory. I've also had, since the Practice Theory Consortium last year was a fantastic opportunity, not just the 2 days, but to meet people as well. I have met up with a small group. We've had a couple of meetings so far where we're dating. I don't know. I call it dating in the sense of we've had a couple of meetings. We'll see where it goes. But there are also other practice theorists in education. Three from Germany, and one of the others is here with me in Australia. So we have that working from time to time. Yeah. That
sounds like a tribe in the making. How else do tribes start? Yeah. I'm very, very interested in that. So
we may have, I shouldn't probably announce this, like I said, maybe later on down the track, how we go with developing our ideas, maybe an idea for the ideas playground.
That would be great. That would be great. Yeah. So that's a great introduction. Who else would you like to meet on the map?
The two other people I would like to meet, and specifically for, they're not in education, but they're in philosophy, and I had to write their names down. So, and maybe you can help me make sure if, I wouldn't want to pronounce somebody's name incorrectly. But they're from the University. Is it Hagen? Is that? It looks like in Germany.
Yeah.
I think. Is it Celine Gerlich? And is it Thomas? Is it Berdorf?
We'll find out for sure.
We'll find out. Yeah.
The names aren't that difficult to write down, but it's probably with my Australian pronunciation, I probably am destroying.
So we've got to go back to Germany then.
Yeah, I think so. And the reason for it is because they're working. For me personally, the reason why I'd like to meet them is because they're working with they're working with phenomenology and practice theories So
great. Okay, yeah. We're up for that. We can travel. Now, that is quite a long journey. And as you
Yeah.
know, we're collecting souvenirs as we go on our way. So, so what would you like to give us?
This is a takeaway latte, strong latte from the cafe down the road. And I'm not sure, have any of you been to Australia? Yeah. Where did you, have you been to Melbourne, Torik?
Yeah.
No,
Oh, where did you, oh, you've been to Melbourne, Elizabeth?
I have, yeah.
Yeah. Where did you go? Don't tell me you went to Sydney and then went home.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Oh no, I went Sydney up to Cairns and then Cairns back down. Yeah, I did the normal sort of English up and down that coast, diving, all that type of stuff. Yeah.
It's a big country, I know. You need
Yeah.
some more time to explore. But Melbourne is known for, as a, well, apart from the culture capital of Australia, it's also known as a coffee capital. So we all love our coffee. And I know many places in the world claim to love coffee. And even the Finns, I think, claim to be one of the biggest coffee drinkers. But I really did not enjoy their coffee whilst I lived there. And all I dreamt about was coming home and getting a latte from one of our cafes or here in Melbourne. So even when I go over to the West Coast, I visit my family in Western Australia, and coffee's expensive and it doesn't taste nowhere near as good. So it's not a very expensive souvenir, and it's one that you can take away as well.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you very much for that. I don't know how we're going to share it, but we'll work that out.
I was just about to say that. I'm starting to think, is it captain's privileges? I'll look after it. Don't worry.
Okay.
All right, I'll take a photograph of it for you, and yeah.
Great.
Thank you
Thanks,
so
Harry.
much.
Thank
It was
you.
great meeting you.
It was nice to meet you again too, Natalia. Nice to meet you, Torik and Elizabeth. And I'm sure our paths will cross again in the future.
Hopefully.
Ahoy.
Have a safe
Ahoy.
journey.